No. It was all scripted. It was all written. We didn't ad-lib any of it.
That was amazing.
No, none of that was that.
I've seen that in first grade. I've never seen a shot like that.
Yeah. It was good shit though, wasn't it? Wonderful stuff. But no, it was all scripted. But
The Valentine, is that you?
no, it was in the script. But yeah.
Bullwinkle Moose was in the script?
The guys, I have a t-shirt over there. It says "Thrill Me" on there. The people who make the t-shirt are the Fright Rag people from Rochester. And they just made a thing that they're going to put on beer coasters, those round coasters. It's Atkins time. But with that Miller logo under it, kind of. Yeah. But I did find, a lot of people ask me about the lines from the film. And I, for the longest time, sometimes you forget, you're shooting something. Did that really happen? Was that like that? And I thought for a long time that we made that line, that thing about, well, girls, I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is your dates are here. What's the bad news? They're dead. We just made that up on the day, but we did sort of make it up on the day, because we shot the movie over maybe 30 days, 35 days, and ended in October. Then we come back in February to reshoot stuff, and that was to shoot new stuff, and that's a new sequence that we did from inside. The good news, bad news. Yeah, Brendan.
Do you have any anecdotes you could tell us about Escape from New York?
Escape from New York. I hardly had anything to do with Escape from New York, in the sense that the whole bulk of the movie shot in the bowels of some terrible area in St. Louis, Missouri, I guess, which I was not part of, and that was supposedly the prison in Manhattan that all the rest of the people, Adrian, Ernie Borgnine, everybody, and Kurt, for the most part, were there. I did not go to St. Louis. Me and Lee Van Cleef ran the prison, and our locations were all in LA. The exterior was the Sepulveda Dam out in the valley. We shot there a bunch of nights, and daytime, that's where we put the thing on Snake. But that was the exterior. The interior of that was at the Jet Propulsion Lab, or some science lab in Pasadena, where me and Lee Van Cleef were at the consoles looking at shit and following the happenings over there. I think it's kind of weird and sad and ironic, and something that we threw him over there in a glider and he landed on top of the World Trade Center, which is no longer with us. And Lee Van Cleef, it was his last feature that he shot. He was dying of cancer at the time. He knew it, but we didn't. None of us knew it. He was a wonderful guy to work with, very professional, terrific guy, very social, nice, smoked a pipe, low-key kind of a fellow. John loved helicopters at that time, and I'm thankful that I didn't get killed by one. At the dam, we had them flying out and flying in as Sepulveda Dam, and I'm out there. I do remember that every scene I was in, including those, I had a cigarette, because it was Carpenter's idea of acting or something. and I smoked my ass off in that movie. And I never really had anything to do with Donald Pleasance, who was the president, hardly. Kurt was fun. He was fun to work with. And he was fun in the movie and outside the movie. He was a good guy, terrific guy. Yeah. I think that's about it. Yeah.
In My Bloody Valentine, you kind of play a character that's an homage to yourself and everything else you've done. You know, how did you come into that role? Was that written for you? Did you just stumble into that and accept it, or?
Oh, yeah, no. It's another My Bloody Valentine 3D. We did 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. We shot, and we shot it in Pittsburgh. And the guy Patrick Lussier, who directed it, and him and his partner, writing partner Todd Farmer, wrote it. And they came to Pittsburgh to shoot it in a couple of coal mines outside of the town. And Patrick got in touch with me through a casting agent in Pittsburgh, who said, this fellow's coming to do a movie. He's a big fan of yours. He would like you to be in it. Would you meet with him downtown? And I said, well, I'm not going to read for it, but sure, I'll meet with the guy. And so me and Patrick met at the coffee shop in the old Weston William Penn Hotel downtown. Beautiful old joint that's been there forever. I love old places, because I'm old, I guess. And we had coffee, and I felt like I knew him all my life. And I think he felt the same way. And he said, you know, I'm a really big fan of yours, and I want you to play the sheriff in this movie, but when I tell you how you die, you may not want to do it. And then he explained, you know, that the pickaxe is up through my lower jaw and my whole lower face gets torn out, and because it's in 3D, it flies out over the right shoulder of everybody in the audience. And I said, yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll do that. Hell yeah. And it was fun. And then we did Drive Angry the following summer. We were supposed to do Halloween 3, a continuation of Rob Zombie's kind of storyline. But because Drive Angry did so badly, they took the funding away from Halloween 3 and Hellraiser, which he was going to do, him and Todd. But, you know, I guess I played a fair number of cops, but I don't feel like they, you know, it's not really type casting, it's just, I'm good at it, you know. I came out of a gyro shop near where I live, and there were 3 guys in the parking lot, and I'm taking my stuff to the car, and they walked over and said, hey, yeah, are you a cop? I said, no, I'm an old actor. I played a lot of cops, but I'm not a cop. And the guys said, we know you're an actor. We know you played a lot of cops, but you do it so good, we thought maybe you were a cop before you became an actor. I said, no, that's Dennis Farina. He was a cop before he became an actor, but not me. But I thought it was a really nice compliment, you know, that they're retired. They were 3 retired city of Pittsburgh police officers.
You're not happy birthday to me.
Oh, hey, I didn't hear what you said about it, but yeah.
Was there anything that you guys filmed for Halloween 3 that didn't make it to the final cut? Like anything else that you remember?
Anything in Halloween 3 that didn't make it to the final cut?
Yeah, stuff that you filmed that just got trimmed from the final release.
I don't think so. I think it all got through there. Well, then no, I'll tell you, it there was a lot of running and chasing and shit through the town of that little town up there at the Silver Shamrock Factory.
So just pacing stuff then.
Tons of it. And I had gotten walking pneumonia during the shoot.
Oh, no.
And I thought I was going to die. Running and chasing and hawking and a lot of it didn't get in.
Well, that's what stand-ins are for.
Yeah.
Has the ending of The Fog changed with the script and the
The ending of The Fog, no. The ending of The Fog wasn't changed that I know of. I don't know. I don't think so. I know the beginning, John was really worried because The Fog is kind of an old-fashioned ghost story. It's certainly not a slasher movie, and it was not as violent as Halloween. It's kind of old-fashioned story, and he was real worried about making a decent film out of that story. So I know that I don't think the ending was changed, but I know he went back and shot more stuff at the beginning. So I can't quite remember now if it's after the story. I think it's after the story that Houseman tells, where shit falls off the shelves in a store, gasoline pump comes out, and the gasoline's all over a gas station.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was added. But nothing else that I know of. Yeah.
So what was it like working with the Scream Queen?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, she was, back in our days, that she was the Scream Queen.
Yeah, you know, Jamie Lee was terrific. She was 19 and I was 34. And it was wonderful. We had a good time. She was worried about making a life as an actor. She didn't have any worries, really. I hear that she kind of, I don't know what it is. I think she looks back on those days as somehow something they weren't. That I know you'll never see her at one of these.
No.
And
why is that?
Who knows? You'd have to ask her. But I know you'll never see her at one of these, and she seems to forsake that part of her career, which I don't understand. You know, it sure got her off to a hell of a beginning of a career.
Well, back in our day, when she was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
she was number one.
Well, she's still awesome. She's a terrific woman, but she writes children's books, and I've heard that there are people who have taken their, Fog memorabilia and stuff to her book signings, and she will have absolutely nothing to do with it.
Aww.
She will sign her books, but she will not sign any horror stuff. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, I think we ought to name you Scream King then.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I certainly will not forsake any of what I've done. I enjoyed every minute of every shot of it. They were all terrific fun, and I'm just thrilled that all of you fans, still appreciate them, and that they've lived so long in the genre. I know I started, once I did The Fog, I thought, I like this. I would like to be the new Vincent Price of these kind of movies.
You're elected.
And I was at a coffee shop over in LA, Hollywood, near West LA, near Mount Cedar-Sinai Hospital one day, at a coffee shop, having a pastry and a coffee, cherry Danish, as I recall, my favorite. And there comes Vincent Price
Oh, wow.
into the coffee shop. And I'm sitting at a little table up in the window, and I watch him go up to the counter and pick out a half dozen pastries. They put them in a bag, he pays for them. He walks out, and I'm going, oh my God, oh my God, it's Vincent Price. And he came back down the window outside and stood in front of me on the sidewalk, and he mouthed through the window, I love your work. And
Wow.
I said, oh my God, thank you. You too, I love your work. And he was gone. That was sad. So I never really met him, but I've always
guess he
admired
passed
him.
it.
I've always thought
He
he was.
passed it on to you.
Well,
So you are
thanks.
his.
Thanks. That's great. Anybody else? Anything? Brendan?
Having worked with Carpenter several times, are there any other of his films that you wish you would have gotten a part in?
Yeah, The Thing.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
My very favorite horror movie of all time, personally, was the original The Thing from 1951.
Yes.
Howard Hawks produced it, and I'm not sure if he directed it, but I think he certainly had a hand in it from the way it looked. With Tobey Maguire, is that his name? Anyway, I loved that movie, and John told me while we were doing The Fog, I'm going to remake The Thing. Well, I already was of the opinion of when something was so good, why would you want to remake it? I don't know that I voiced that opinion to John, but I guess, we talked about being in it, but he wanted Kurt for the main guy, and I said, I don't give a shit about that, I just like to be in it. But he didn't hire me to be in it.
Aww.
And so that was a disappointment, but not a great disappointment. I think one of my bigger disappointments was had nothing to do with John Carpenter. It was back in the day before I went out to LA. I was doing a play on Broadway called The Changing Room, and it was about a rugby team from northern England. And we all got naked on stage, all of us players. There were 22 guys in the play, no women. David Story play, very strange play, but a good play. And Catherine Houghton, who was a friend of mine, was the daughter of, or not the daughter, a niece of Katharine Hepburn. And she came to see the play. And Katharine Hepburn was going to do a television version of The Glass Menagerie.
Oh, yes.
And she asked me to come over and meet with her and David Susskind, who was producing it, and for the role of the gentleman caller. And I read with Katharine Hepburn.
Wow.
And we read this wonderful scene between the gentleman caller and her daughter, Laura. But she read the daughter. And it was so thrilling. And she was so good. And she's crying at the end of the scene. And David Susskind's sitting there in a chair. And she turns to him and she says, see, that's a good actor. Wasn't that wonderful? And David Susskind, he's got a tear coming down his, and he said, yeah. So they offered me the part, and I couldn't get out of the changing room. I couldn't get out. They wouldn't let me out to do it.
Oh.
So that was a big disappointment.
Couldn't
Well,
you
Tom,
just-
here you are.
But there you are.
You thought you would be able to fill 45 minutes.
Are we done?
We're done.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen,
so
Tom
much.
Atkins. Tom, thank you for coming out.
It was all right. I really appreciate it. Thank God to all your fans. I'll tell you, we wouldn't be anything without you guys. Thank you.
Love you,
Thank you.
Mom.